welcome to the Hoof Podcast on this Black Friday edition. Sitting here with Sterling and Anthony. We're going to get you ready for the Chargers on Sunday. What's going on, guys? How's your Black Friday?
Oh, mine's good. I'm not shopping, so I'm here with you guys. That's much better than being out crazy shopping, especially in COVID times. Hope everybody's staying safe. Shop from your home today. Delivery is your friend in these crazy times, so use it to your advantage.
Well, I think everybody's getting over the turkey, right? Today is the day you make your sandwiches, your turkey sandwiches. From your leftovers. Right. I like to toast my bread with some mayonnaise and tomato. Love me some cranberry sauce. But yeah, today is leftover day. Although I can't get a PS5. I mean, what the hell, dude? Like, everybody, people are buying these things up in droves. It's not like you can go in the store and just go pick one off the shelf. You have to get in these bids, man, online. You got to get in there before all the bots take them all, and it's just a hot mess right now. So, outside of not being able to secure a PS5, I guess today it's all right.
I already have a solution for you. We already talked about this on our Tuesday show.
I'm not doing the Xbox. That's not
buy an Xbox.
Buy the inferior.
You know why why those are available? They're available because nobody wants them.
That's right.
Aren't they the same thing? Like, what's the real differences between Xbox and PlayStation?
The main thing for me is just the controller. I'm
better.
used to the
It's
PlayStation
just better.
controller. But the systems themselves, I agree, they probably are pretty.
Well, the one benefit, and I get why you don't want a PlayStation, Sterling, because you probably lose to me in Madden on Xbox. So
Boy,
I get the fact that you're
Eric. Don't you do it?
I get why you're beating around the bush.
You know I've given it to you for years,
Yeah.
so don't even.
That was a long time ago. It's a new day.
Oh, man.
I put about as much time into Madden as I do this podcast, so.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. That could go either way there.
Yeah.
My Madden, I'm still a rookie in Madden. I'm learning still. I started this past year with last year's version. I haven't gotten the new one yet, but still trying to figure it out. Maybe after I get the PS5, I'll get the new Madden and start to become an expert. But right now, it wouldn't be impressive if you beat me. So.
A win's a win, right? Just need the stat. That's all that matters.
There you go. I'm the Jaguars.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same story this week, right? Just need to get a W versus Chargers team. Get in, get out, right? Let's move on to our primetime games. Got a lot of big games for the Bills coming up. The Bills are back to 1 o'clock p.m. as the Chargers come to town. And we got a couple segments to get everybody ready for the week, and then we'll dive into Chargers prep, get our picks, and get everyone on their way to shopping, getting those deals, fighting each other for TVs. So let's kick it off with our first segment here. It's called the Scouting Spotlight with Sterling. Everyone knows he's been with the Scouting Academy, and he's trying to learn and trying to grow in that field. So here's your chance to showcase what you've been learning.
Well, so this is always a fun little thing to do because you get to learn about prospects that sometimes are under the radar that people don't know about that could fit the Bills or other teams. But so I'm going to kind of be given a broad scope of what players to watch for in terms of the NFL draft for the Bills. Guys that I think that can fit our scheme, fit what we like to do. So the first player that I'm going to give you guys, okay? It'd be real easy to go, cornerback, right? Tight end or whatever. But I'm gonna surprise you guys with a guy named Hamza Nasruddin from Florida State. Now, this is a guy that I believe can fit that big nickel that Sean McDermott covets. You kind of think of Shaq Thompson when you look at him, but I think he's way more well-rounded, athletic than Shaq Thompson because Shaq Thompson did play safety in college as well. Now he's more of a hybrid linebacker. But Hamza Nasruddin he's a 6'4" senior, okay, out of Florida State. and I believe he could go probably between rounds 2 and 3. This is a guy that had a ACL injury towards the end of 2019. He's just now coming back, so you're not gonna see the full array of athletic ability that he displays if you're looking at this year's film. And Florida State's been terrible, but he's one of my favorite players coming into this draft. Like I said, he's 6'4". He's long, he's fast, he's rangy. Think of him as a Justin Simmons for the Broncos type of player. And he's one of the best safeties in the league right now. I would say at least top 5. But Hamza is a guy that can play toward the line of scrimmage. He could play in the slot. He can, you can put him out in the back. He has good ball skills, fluid in his hips. He is kind of from the same tree of Derwin James in that way. So last year, I believe he had like 101 tackles on 10 starts. On defense, had a couple interceptions. So far this year, he's played in a couple games. He's got 4 tackles. You could tell that he's not all the way back to himself. He's still trying to rehab and work from that ACL injury that can take a while. So he did come back faster than many expected. But he is this guy can come in here and fit in this Bills defense as a big nickel. You can line him up all over the field. The Bills do need someone that matchup chess piece. They did really like Kyle Duggar. Believe if the Patriots didn't take him in the second round last year, I believe that he would have been the Bills' second round pick in this past year's draft, like we talked about before. Jeremy Chin was another one of those guys who's really balling out for the Carolina Panthers this year. But I would expect if the Bills could take a look at this guy in second or third round, and just because of that injury, it's possible he could fall to the third round. So McDermott and Bean can kind of do what they have to do in round 1, right? Whether that's a cornerback or you want to get some help on the offensive line, or even like we mentioned on our live show on Tuesday night with the Bills possibly grabbing a tight end or whatever that may be. But Hamza Nasiruddin is a stud of a linebacker, man. 6'4", 215 pounds. He's positionless. You're not going to see him play cornerback, obviously, on the outside. That's not his thing. But he does have good speed. We expect him to run probably around a 4.4 is probably what he's going to run, or low 4.5. So he's got enough speed to do what he needs to do. He can hit. He's an explosive. He's a vicious hitter. He really does it all, man. And I think that's a player that we should definitely keep a lookout for.
Nice. I actually looked him up as you were talking here and started to watch a little of his highlight reel because I'm not a scouting guy. I didn't know his name until you said it. But yeah, the one thing that really stands out to me about this guy from his tape is he's a ball magnet and he can hit, like you said. I mean, he punches that ball out. He can intercept the ball. When the ball is out, he jumps on it. He's got ball skills, and that's what you want in a defender.
Yeah, I mean, you put it like, for instance, if you put him in a slot, he's big enough at 6'4". He's strong. Where if he gets his hands on you and jam, there's not much you can do because he's just that strong of a player. So he even played as a true freshman. He played in 13 games as a true freshman. So this guy he's special. He's a special player. And what's going to happen is he's going to kind of get slept on just because Florida State has been a complete disaster, for the past couple years. And they got some pretty good players. They got Marvin Wilson, the defensive tackle, which we'll talk about him a little later as far as, getting close to the draft because he's an intriguing prospect as well. But, Hamza he's a stud, man, all the way through.
Do you think he's a first-round pick?
I don't think he's a first-round pick because of his injury history and his production as far as on the field as a team standpoint. I mean, this is a Florida State team that many thought would come in as one of the top defenses in FBS, but they're just not getting it done. And I don't know if it's a scheme, if it's coaching, because they have all the talent in the world. And I can't put too much on Hamza just because he's coming off that ACL injury. He definitely has first-round talent, right? But I don't think, we're talking about this draft having maybe 5 quarterbacks and 5 cornerbacks. So, I mean, it's going to be loaded at the top of the draft. So I think someone like him can get pushed down to the second or maybe third round.
All right, yeah, thanks for that. That is our scouting spotlight. That'll be coming at you, periodically throughout the rest of the season as we do get closer to the NFL draft. I know it's early, but we are in the second half of the season. It's time to start having these conversations. And we have another segment that we want to get out, and it's called Insights. And this is a segment each week will give you a unique perspective on each topic of our choice, depending on the team that the Bills will be facing. This week, it's the LA Chargers, and, everyone is talking about this Justin Herbert kid. And a lot of people have compared him to Josh Allen. And I get why they compare him. It's the big frame, the big arm, both mobile guys, both drafted in the top 7. A lot of expectations with that. But I think their NFL story has been very different to this point. Josh Allen, through his first 9 games as a rookie, had a lot of ups and downs. 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions to that point, rating of 65.1. Justin Herbert's story has been completely different. He is off to a historical rookie season. Through his first 9 games, 68% completion percentage, 2,699 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, overall quarterback rating of 104.7, which is on pace to be the highest in history. The only other quarterback to have a higher quarterback rating through 16 games was Dak Prescott just a few years ago, his rookie season. He had a 104.9. So if Herbert can keep his pace, I think he has a possibility to break that and have one of the best rookie seasons. A couple other notable rookie seasons by quarterbacks. RG3 had a quarterback rating of 102.4. Russell Wilson had a 100. Ben Roethlisberger, the year he won the Super Bowl as a rookie, 98.1. And then Dan Marino, who only appeared in 11 games, had a 96. So, and one struggle for Justin Herbert to this point is getting wins, right? Stats don't always carry over to wins. The only 2 wins that Justin Herbert has under his belt are against the Jaguars and the Jets. Very easily the top 2 picks in next year's draft. So that is your insight for the week. And we'll bring that to you periodically throughout the rest of the year. And you all know Anthony, right? And you all know his 5 for 5. We're going to bring that to you right now.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hey, we got back on the winning ways last week yet again, going 3-2, which is a pretty good week. One of the losses happened to be the big bet of the week, which is kind of tough. The Vikings lost to Dallas, which was surprising for everybody, I think. And actually, overall, the sports book said it was one of their best Sundays ever. So, as you can imagine, there were some difficult losses where a lot of the money was placed on the team that did not win. So, the sports books were happy, the bettors were not. But overall, 3-2 on a day like that, that's pretty good overall. And my record is now 32-23 on the season. That's pretty good. I'll take that. That's quite the winning percentage. Let's keep up those winning ways and get started on this week with my big bet of the week. And this is a game that was supposed to be scheduled for Thursday, but is now scheduled for Sunday with the movement of the COVID issues that Baltimore is having. I'm taking the Steelers -4.5 versus Baltimore. I just think these are 2 teams trending in the opposite direction. Sure, the Steelers have looked vulnerable and beatable, but Baltimore has been failing and faltering, and now they're even more short-handed dealing with the COVID situation. I like the Steelers -4.5. My second bet of the week here is the Chiefs -3.5 at Tampa Bay. As long as Tampa Bay has that liability at quarterback, they are not going to win games that are difficult for them. And this Kansas City team is just way better than they are. Their defense is speculative at best, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they can be scored upon, but after watching Tom Brady throw the ball over people's heads and into the ground and nowhere near his receivers, I just don't think he has it anymore. Kansas City wins this game, and the Chiefs are -3.5. My third pick is the Seahawks on Monday night, -5.5 at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, the Eagles are another team that just hasn't showed me anything on offense. I just don't think they can get it going. Their defense is vulnerable, and I think the Seahawks will capitalize on that and score a lot of points. So the Seahawks -5.5 at Philly. My fourth bet of the week is the New York Giants. How many thought I'd be saying that at the beginning of the year? -5.5. The Giants as a favorite at Cincinnati. Cincinnati just lost Joe Burrow. It's going to be difficult for them. They are calling up Elam from the practice squad to be their guy, the quarterback who got a few starts with Denver last year, actually against the Bills too. But that Cincy team, Joe Burrow was their strongest player and their best piece on their team, really their centerpiece, and without him, everybody gets a little bit worse. So the Giants have been trending in the right direction. I like the Giants -5.5 here. And my last pick of the week, believe it or not, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns to take advantage of another weak schedule team playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville also going through a quarterback change. They haven't showed me anything that it really has to prove it to me, so I'm taking the Browns -6.5. So that's my 5 picks of the week. Here we go. The Steelers are my big bet of the week, -4.5 versus Baltimore. The Chiefs -3.5 at Tampa Bay. The Seahawks -5.5 at Philly. The Giants -5.5 at Cincy. And the Browns -6.5 at Jacksonville. I didn't mean it to work out that way, but I'm on the favorites this week, it seems. So there you go. Let's make some money. Let's go 5-0 this week. Make it happen.
Perfect. There's 2 games yesterday, so there's a kind of a small slate of games this week. So appreciate the 5 for 5 insights. Not as many games as there normally is.
Yeah, right. Definitely slim pickings, but still a lot of good lines. I like some of the lines this week.
All right, so let's get into the Chargers. Let's get everybody ready for Sunday, coming off the bye. I think our listeners are probably hungry for a football game. I know I am. And did you know, before we get into this, GM Tom Telesco of the Chargers is from Buffalo. He's from Hamburg, New York. Did you know that?
Oh, I did
He
not
went to
know
the
that.
same high school as Brian Dable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Pretty
for him.
crazy, huh?
Were they around the same age? Or is
Buffalo Bills PR has it at, let's see, Telesco graduated 91, Brian Dable graduated 93.
Yeah, so they were in high school together.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh? Small
Yeah,
world,
wow.
small world.
And both made it to the NFL from Hamburg, New York. Good for them. That's
Right.
an awesome story.
Maybe a candidate for coaching job next year. I'm just saying.
We'll see.
Anyway, Chargers come to town. We got Greg Gumbel and Rich Gannon, and the kicker Jay Feely will be on the sideline. That's probably the best for him. And
I like that team, though. That's a pretty
yeah,
good.
they're pretty
announcement
good.
team.
They're pretty
They're
good.
not
I like
biased,
Rich
they're not
Gannon.
the crazy, yeah.
I'm a pretty big fan of Rich Gannon. The Bills are looking to start 8-3 for the second season. And let's get into this. Okay, this Chargers team I think is pretty talented. They've had a lot of troubles finding wins, and I think all of their losses have been 1-score games. So
Yeah, and
what's that tell you?
Difficult losses too. I mean, well, knowing the scores of those games, it tells me that their offense is really good and their defense is not, and has not been doing well, because they've been able to score points, but they've just been bested by the other team, and they're not a clutch team either, right? That tells me that regardless of how well their quarterback is doing, he's still a rookie, and he's not able to step up in those clutch moments when they need to come back from, and get a game-winning drive. So he's still a rookie. I'll forgive him for that. You're not going to expect him to set the world on fire. He's doing pretty damn well as is. But I think the real problem there is the defense just has not been holding up for them when they've been able to score points.
Right. And it's just that story in the NFL. They're finding ways to lose games. You just look at the points.
Turnovers, yeah.
Right. The points scored per game is not all that different than Buffalo, right? The Chargers are at 26 points scored per game. The Bills are at 27.2. Bills are 11th. Chargers are 15th. Points allowed per game. The Bills are 26.5. It's 20th in the league. The Chargers 27.3. So that difference of 1 point could be the difference between a 7-3 score and a 3-7 score. Pretty crazy to think about. When you get down to the nitty gritty.
This team is definitely better than its record says.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the conclusions we can draw from. Yeah.
For sure.
granted, you are what your record says you are, right? That's their defense isn't good enough, but they are more of a threat than their record puts on. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Anthony Lynn's a terrible head coach. I think he deserves. I mean, I would put him in the top half probably. We know who he is. We're very familiar with him.
Certainly a great leader of men and can get the most out of his players.
Yeah, so anyway, let's dive in here. Let's go Buffalo offense versus this Chargers defense. I mean, obviously, Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa are the two people that stand out in my mind of who you got to worry about. And I think the protection will be very important this week for Josh Allen, who I think's made tremendous strides, right? From the last time they played the Chargers, Josh Allen's first game as a starter.
I think Ingram's actually questionable for this game. He was on the injury report. So I don't know if I'm assuming he's going to play, if at all healthy, because he is one of their difference makers. But something to watch, we'll see by Sunday. But certainly Joey Bosa is still out there. They have a pass rush threat. And I think this is a great place to start because the Buffalo Bills are expected to have their starting 5 offensive linemen out there for the first time this season. So I really want to see what that matchup looks like. Bring the pass rush against our starting 5 and see how they hold up because, we want to know, are these the guys we're rolling with moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad? I mean, they haven't played really together all that much this year if you stop and think about it,
Yeah.
So, I mean, will they be rusty? And it's not a good week to be rusty on the offensive line.
Well, hopefully they've had the week at practice to get together, and this was expected in the offseason too before Feliciano's injury. The rest of them were working together. So hopefully Feliciano can just fill in that spot, and we know he's a far better guard than what we've had in there. And he's been playing center since Mitch Morse got hurt, so now those two in as a combination along with Cody Ford coming back and the two tackles who have been very good really this season. I'm excited to see what that turns out to be because that's going to help Josh Allen in the pocket, but it's also going to help our run game, which again is crucial. I think we're not going to become a running team overnight all of a sudden. We're certainly a pass first team, and that's our strength. But you got to be able to run the ball, and especially against this team, I think they're giving up. I don't know if you have the stats in front of you. I think it's like 4.5 yards a carry. So that's pretty significant. You should be able to run the ball against this team. Right. And especially with that offensive line back, I certainly expect our average yards per carry to go up.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is probably because of the young linebacking core. Kenneth Murray being a rookie, Nwasu out of USC playing outside linebacker. But, I mean, Denzel Perriman's very capable. But I think that's probably why they're struggling in the run game and picking that up. I mean, the NFL right now it's RPO, it's misdirection. I mean, it's very confusing for a young linebacker. I don't think it's a good time to be a young linebacker in the league. I mean, they're attacking throughout the entire league.
Yeah, I think one of the big points for the Bills, I mean, if they have Mitch Morse back, is to get these guards and centers or center pulling in space. I mean, that's what was the key to the running game last year. And when you have a Mitch Morse who's really athletic, that's one of his strong suits, the ability to be agile and be able to get to the second level and pull effectively, that's going to open up some run lanes for these Bills running backs. And like you guys mentioned, the Chargers having a young linebacking core, it's only going to create opportunity. I'm not believing the smoke and the hype of this. Like we talked about earlier in the week about Mitch Morse not playing in this game. He's going to play. I really do feel like he's going to start. And to your point, Anthony, it's not going to happen overnight. But, in order to be successful in the playoffs, I mean, these are the weeks where you have to start establishing a run game. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks like moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, but I think you can make the case to attack the corners. I mean, I know Casey Hayward is a premier corner in the league, but, I mean, their injuries with Chris Harris and Derwin James has really disrupted the Chargers secondary, and I think with the Bills receiving core, I think you could attack and have some success there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely stick to your game plan. However,
it's certainly still our strength, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely stick to it, but we have to start working in some sort of balance. I mean, we know the offense can throw it all over the yard, right? But I think we're looking for like a long-term sustained success. If you can run the ball effectively, you can keep that young, hot quarterback on the bench, essentially, right? And you're going to have to force him to get into rhythm with his offense. I mean, the Chargers have really good weapons. They might even be getting Austin Eckler back from injury this week. But they're going to have their hands full with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So
yeah, we'll get to that in a minute here. But that is the strength of their team, right? And I agree that our run game is the way to keep them off the field. Unless we do what we did versus Seattle, which is just score.
Right.
And that could be the case in this game because we know their defense is a little bit weak. I think Hayward was their cornerback was on the injury report as well. So I don't know what his status will be for the game. But still something to look out for since, two of their main defensive players now are showing up on the injury report on top of the fact that their defense just hasn't been playing well. But I do think Josh Allen is the main piece still here, right? He's got to be able to pass the ball. I'm hoping Cole Beasley has a day here because John Brown for us is still dealing with his injury issues, limited in practice. So, I'm guessing that means he might not be 100% on game day, even if he does play. But if he can just get coverage and Cole Beasley is open because you expect them to double cover Diggs, he's going to get his. And Beasley's been having a hell of a year, and I expect that to continue. So Josh Allen just needs to be able to find the open guy, continue to matriculate the ball down the field, right? And if we could keep that clock running, like you said, Sterling, that'll keep their offense off the field. And as long as we score our points and our defense can hold, then you're going to win the game pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's true. What is the incentive for this Chargers team to win this game? I mean, it's hard to find some when you're a 3-7 team traveling across the country. It just seems hard for me to find an incentive for them to win. I think their focus as a team is develop a quarterback.
Right.
But anyway,
it has to be.
Right.
It has to be.
Stay healthy. That's all they're hoping.
Every rep he gets is great. I mean, we know that from firsthand. Just when Josh Allen was a rookie, even coming to his second year, the kid need all the reps he can get. And it's great. One of the things that I find interesting about Justin Herbert is coming into the league, he has weapons. A lot of first year quarterbacks don't have the kind of weapons that are at his disposal. So, having a guy like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, that stuff matters. So it definitely, you can definitely see versus a Josh Allen where he had absolutely nothing coming into the league. So, people were like, well, Justin Herbert's better than Josh Allen. I've heard this before. And I'm like, wait, look at what Josh Allen had coming into the league. Right. I mean, you just can't.
Definitely way too early to make that jump.
It's totally different.
Calvin Benjamin,
give him, next season, the defenses are going to have a chance to plan for him, adjust for him too. We got to see that growth that we've seen with Josh Allen in Justin Herbert. He's certainly gotten off to a hotter start, but as you said, a lot of that has to do with the weapons around him.
All right, so let's talk matchup here. What about this Bills defense taking on this Chargers offense? I do think, as of now, if you asked me early in the season, I think the strength of the Chargers would be the defense, but I think that has now changed. I think the Chargers offense is really the higher concern when you talk about matching up with them. So what are the keys to victory for the Bills defense to beat this offense?
Here's an interesting stat that the Bills defense that I don't if I were to, when I say this, you guys are gonna be like, what? That's not real. But the Bills rank 8th in the league in sacks. Can you believe that? They're 8th in the league. Yes, the Bills are 8th in the league in sacks.
Wow. What would we have against in the last game against the Cardinals? We had 5 sacks or something in that game. I guess
true.
That is pretty surprising.
You start to think about Russell Wilson got sacked a bunch of times too. I mean,
right.
It adds
up.
The
last 2 games they really have been coming on. And how many times have we said with this overpaid defensive line they need to start putting up the stats? So that is a pretty surprising number. And I'm guessing where you're going with this is bring the pressure onto the rookie quarterback and make him make some decisions and mistakes.
Absolutely. You definitely, I think, so if you just going back and watching some of the games being quarantined, we're seeing a shift in the Bills' defense schematically. They're starting to be more aggressive. You saw earlier in the season, there wasn't much aggression. It was, not a lot of window dressing. They were it was just kind of vanilla plain. And I don't know if that was because, they kind of expected the defensive line to just take over it, being that this is the highest paid defensive line in the league. But we've seen a shift. And what that shift is, you're seeing the line being more aggressive. You're seeing a lot of blitz packages and disguises pre-snap. That's helping these guys get home to the quarterback. I mean, even last year, the Bills were ranked near the top 10 in sacks last year. And when you watch the games, you're like, well, the Bills really don't have like a great pass rusher. You just don't think of the Bills being a threat when it comes to rushing the passer, but they're sneaky good in terms of getting to the passer and generating sacks. Now, those sacks just don't come from the defensive line. Those come from linebackers and safeties and so forth. So that is a testament to the Bills' defensive line not playing up to its best ability. But to like what you guys saying, yeah, we're going to have to bring the pressure for Justin Herbert this week. This isn't the Jets' defense where, they had 4 starting rookies in the secondary. This is a very seasoned secondary, as we know, and I don't think Justin Herbert's going to have this great game. I think, Micah Hyde getting a little bit healthier. He's been struggling with some injuries. Jordan Poyer's been playing out of this world, and I'm interested to see who's going to be that cornerback number 2. Is it Dane Jackson? Is it Levi Wallace coming into the game? So, McDermott's going to be hush-hush about what his intentions are for Sunday, but I think there's opportunities to be had on this defense.
I love it. I definitely think the number one key is to confuse the rookie quarterback. Come at him, line up like you're bringing the blitz, and then drop people back. Bring the blitz when he's not expecting it, but get pressure on him and make him make bad decisions because he is a rookie. So he is still learning, and he does have the ability, similar to Josh Allen, to roll out of the pocket and make a play. So you want to keep him, behind in the pocket as much as you can, if possible. And don't let him, roll out and make some surprise play. But one thing you brought up at the end there that I think is another important key to this game is cornerback 2. Because we know what Trey White is, and we're going to get a good game out of him, obviously. But as we always say, when you have Trey White on the field, the passes are going to go to the other guy. In this case, they have 2 elite wide receivers, as you kind of alluded to earlier. Keenan Allen, who gets the majority of the passes and can catch balls and make plays, even in coverage. And then you've got Mike Williams, who is another playmaker, bigger guy, and tough matchup, I think, for whoever is going to be at CB2 for us. And I'm guessing that's going to be Levi Wallace to start the game, at least, with maybe a little bit of rotation going on. So the safeties might be having to help out in coverage with those 2 guys. And then they also have a tight end, Hunter Henry, right, who's another tight end. Has been a spot where they've been attacking us over the middle. If A.J. Klein has another game like he did, when he wasn't playing well versus the last couple when he's been playing better, they're going to target him all day long, and Hunter Henry's going to get every pass. So there's a lot to be aware of on this offense.
Yeah, you're going to have to confuse the rookie quarterback, like you said, because, look, the Bills' offense is really good, but they're only averaging 376 yards a game. This Chargers team is averaging 400.9 yards per game. They are moving the football. It's 3rd in the league right now. But look at the weapons they have. I don't know if you can straight up match up with their receiving core. Like I said on Tuesday, who guards Mike Williams? He's going to get his 50-50 balls.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The safeties, we're going to have to double cover those guys. Get some unique, formations out there to, again, maybe make it look like a blitz, but then drop back and 2 guys are covering the receiver.
Because, I would say force the run, right? We don't know if Eckler's going to be back this week, but, Kelly is a rookie, and they brought in Kalen Ballage. I would try to force the run, personally, but I don't know if you can. You might get killed by Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Mike Williams. So I think you were right on the try to confuse the rookie quarterback as your only chance, and I think McDermott and Frazier could probably do that, right? They're some of the best defensive minds in the league. So, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I want to see this run game on the defensive side. I want to see him improve. It's been coming along better. But I need to see more splash plays, and particularly from the interior defensive line, mainly Ed Oliver and Butler. I want to see these guys get off, disengage from blocks, and maybe plug up these holes in the run game. You brought up Balaj. He's a guy, if he's starting, he's a guy that can break tackles. I mean, he's kind of slithery that way. So you definitely want to send bodies at him. But yeah, man, we got to start getting stout against the run. So that's one of the areas of emphasis that I'm looking forward to this weekend.
All right, yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. All right, so let's kick it off with our bold predictions. How about a bold prediction and a score? And let's start with Anthony on this one.
Bold prediction. I'm going to say we have a 100-yard rushing running back in this game. I know that doesn't sound very bold, but for this team, that would be the first of the year that we have a 100-yard running back rushing for 100 yards. So whether that's Singletary or Moss, depends on who gets the ball more, I think. If I had to guess, I'd say Singletary. But 100-yard rusher, final score, I'm going to go Bills 31. And we hold this offense of the Chargers to 16. 31-16 Bills.
Nice. Sterling, what you got?
I'm going to say Stephon Diggs gets 150 yards receiving this week.
Okay.
Ooh, that is
right.
bold.
Yeah, I think I think it's time, We haven't really seen him get anything deep since that Raiders game. So I think, this is a week where he can pop off this week.
What you got for a score?
I'm going to say 34-21 Bills.
Okay, you guys both going in your 30s. Okay, I like it. I wanted to go with a simple one, but I can't ignore the fact that Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs rank 1 and 2 in receptions so far this year. And that race, these guys know this stuff, right? And I think Stephon Diggs gets double-digit catches in this game, and I think the Bills win 28-10.
Wow. Yeah, I love it. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I think this is a good week for the Bills to get a big score, right? You're coming off a crazy loss out in Arizona where they got hot late, and this season, I think that carries over, right? It's almost like a good thing if you look at the grand scheme of things. It's a good thing the Bills lost because now they have fuel to finish out the season strong. I think this one's just another notch on the way, and they're headed into primetime games, right? There's something like 4 in a row, all primetime games. So I think this game should be a big win for them headed into those games.
Yeah, it's going to be a good stretch of games coming up. They're coming off the bye. This is really a must-win for me because, you're coming off the bye. You're playing a team you should beat. You're at home. That's why I say must-win. It's not a levity of a must-win, but certainly with the remaining schedule and what we have moving forward in the situation, this is a must-win game. The Bills have to come out, play their best football, show that they're ready to go for this stretch run. I'm looking forward to it. I know that much.
Yeah, I just want football back. Okay. Let's kick it off. Let's finish off the show with our picks. And we already had 2 games, but let's move on to Sunday. There is a slate of games. Let's go Raiders, Falcons. This Raiders team, 6-4, gave Kansas City a run for their money. Sterling, how about you kick us off with the first pick?
So we're talking Kansas City and Tampa. Is that the game?
Raiders, Falcons. Raiders,
Falcons.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to take the Raiders here. I think the Raiders are a really good team. This is the year where they're going to make the playoffs. So, Derek Carr has been playing great this year. So I'll take the Raiders for sure.
Yeah, I hope Derek Carr plays well. I had to pick him up in our Dynasty Fantasy League because the injuries to both my quarterbacks, Drew Brees and Joe Burrow. So I do like Derek Carr's play lately. I do like the Raiders in this game. Every time I bet against Atlanta, though, something happens. I bet on them, they lose. I bet against them, they win. So let's see if that carries here. But I'll take Oakland, Vegas. I owe $1.
I'll take Vegas as well because similar to you, Anthony. Every time I pick the Falcons, they blow it. So I'm just not going to do that this week. I think this Raiders team is starting to figure out their identity. And if they weren't playing the Chiefs in that division, that'd be a different story, I think. So let's go Giants, Bengals. 3-7 Giants, 2-7-1 Bengals. No Joe Burrow. What you got, Sterling?
I'll take the Giants in this one. The Giants have been in every game they've played this year, so I think, without Joe Burrow, the Bengals are toast.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Giants, they're one of my 5 picks, obviously, against the spread, so I do like the Giants in this game, but I think they are playing much better than people thought they would, especially after losing their best player in Saquon Barkley. So the Giants are impressive. They need this win, so I'm taking them.
Yeah, I'll go Giants too. With Joe Burrow out, I think the Bengals are just going to lose hope. And it's draft pick time for them, I think. Let's go Giants there. All right, great matchup for the AFC South. The Titans at 7-3 take on the Colts in Indianapolis at 7-3. Battle for first place. What you got, Sterling?
I'll take the Colts.
Yeah.
I'll take the Colts. I think that's a W.
I'm taking the Colts in this one. I think it's going to be close, competitive. The line is 3.5, so I took Tennessee with the line, but I think Indy's going to win the game. Just close.
Yeah, I think Tennessee coming off that emotional win last week. I mean, I just think the Colts are playing good football, man. They got a really good defense. Phillip Rivers kind of settling in his zone, so I think they win.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. I think the Titans are the bully who is loud and boisterous, right? I feel like the Colts are that calm, cool, collected the guy, right? But they know, like, they have a black belt in karate, right? So they're gonna win this with no problem. I'll take the Colts at home in a close one. Let's go Browns, who are 7-3, by the way. I don't think that's being talked about enough. And they're taking on the Jaguars at 1-9.
Anthony, you go first, because I'm still thinking about this one.
All right, I'm taking Cleveland for sure. I mean, for me, it's just Cleveland. Their record is based on the opponents they play. Similar to last year, everybody said the Bills didn't play anybody. Cleveland has had a cakewalk schedule to lead to 7-3. They have beaten 0 good teams, it seems, and taken advantage of the teams that they're supposed to beat, which is all you can do in the NFL. This is another scenario where I expect that to happen. Jacksonville's changing quarterback. That's never a good thing this late in the season. So I'm taking Cleveland.
You know why I hesitated with that one? Because, I watched the Packers against, the Jaguars against the Packers, and I watched their game last week, and they're not a bad team. Right. They play really good. They play stout defense. They got, a really good rookie running back. They have potential. So I think because the Browns haven't played anybody really this year, I think that the Jaguars have a chance to beat them.
All right.
I really do.
I don't hate it. It could be an upset game. Maybe, the quarterback gives them some energy and they come in and get the win.
Now, they shouldn't win. They shouldn't win because they need a quarterback, right? But
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not high on Cleveland. I don't want them to make the playoffs, but with the schedule they have, they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I like this Cleveland team. I think they can run the ball better than a lot of teams in the NFL, and I think that can take you far, especially when you play bad teams who have nothing to play for, right? You're on your third-string quarterback at 1-9. I think Nick Chubb just runs down their throat. I'll take Cleveland in a blowout. Let's go Panthers at 4-7, taking on the Vikings at 4-6 in Minnesota.
I'm going to go with the Vikings here. The Dalvin Cook train continues to roll on. That game last week, I know they lost to the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, good God almighty, that guy's good. But I think they get back on track this week. This is a 4-6 football team. They need to start stacking some wins. You can't just keep handing off to Dalvin Cook all day, but Kirk Cousins is going to have to make some plays.
Yeah, this is a team I had a lot of praise for, the Minnesota Vikings, last week on the show, saying they were the high risers in the NFC. I still think they can be. They had a tough loss last week versus Dallas. Heartbreaking loss for me. They made me lose both of my eliminator leagues on top of the big bet of the week. So tough loss for them, but I think they're going to come back and beat this Carolina team at home.
I think I'll take the Panthers in this one because I think the sails have been taken out of the Vikings, season. I thought they're trying to make a run for it, trying to catch the Packers. A lot of people thought they could do it, and then you lose one you should have won against Dallas. So I think the Panthers, I think they irk one out. I do like the receiving core against the Vikings corners. Let's go the Cardinals at 6-4, at New England at 4-6.
Anthony, go ahead.
I'm taking Arizona. I mean, I'm obviously not a big fan of New England, but their offense, look at, if you would have told me Cam Newton threw for 380 yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever he ended up having, and they lost, I mean, I don't understand it. I think the team is falling apart in New England. Arizona needs to come back with a win in order to stay competitive in their division. I'm taking Arizona.
The Patriots are another intriguing team. I mean, they do play tough, man. I think they have that physical edge to where they could knock off Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they beat Baltimore. The Patriots they'll have Stephon Gilmore back as well. I'm going to go New England here, surprisingly enough. I just think that, the Cardinals are a good team, man. They're a good team, but I just think, Belichick might have a little something up his sleeve for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm going to take New England at home, and it's a long travel, long distance for the Cardinals. And I think Bill will limit these receivers, right? These corners are the secondary for the Patriots is still really good. And this Cardinals team, you got to run the football to beat New England, especially in New England. So I'm not really sure.
I need to remind you both that New England just lost to the Texans, the Houston Texans.
That's true. That's true.
Come on. This team isn't what you think it is.
It's a bounce-back league. Bounce-back league.
Right.
It is.
We'll see.
It is.
They're not bouncing back from anything, but okay. The Cardinals are going to be the ones bouncing back.
All right. Let's build off that momentum, keeping it in the division. The Dolphins at 6-4, taking on the 0-10 Jets.
Oh, man. Do we even have to pick this Dolphins all the way?
Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Dolphins, but this may be the Jets' last chance to get a W with the schedule they have moving forward. So we're definitely, as Bills fans, we're rooting for the Jets here, but Miami's probably going to win.
Yeah, I want to root for the Jets because I don't want to see Trevor Lawrence twice a year, right? So hopefully the Jets can pull one out. They are taking on a rookie quarterback, but I'll go Dolphins. That defense is too good. Let's go Saints, who are 8-2, taking on the Broncos in Denver at 4-6.
People aren't talking about Taysom Hill. His game last week, he played a good game. 18 for 23, over 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. Man, he played. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, but he played pretty well. The Broncos are just good at home. They're stout defensively, but I don't think they're going to get 2 wins in a row like that. So I'll definitely go with the Saints.
Yeah, wow. The Saints, you talked about Taysom Hill. They shocked everybody. I mean, when we recorded our show last week, we were talking about Jameis Winston because he was supposed to be the starter. And then last minute, they said, nope, we're going with Taysom Hill. And it worked out for them in that Atlanta game. So we'll see if that momentum continues to carry them. This Denver team has been coming on strong. Their defense is playing well. The offense is coming around. They've gotten a few wins that people didn't think they were going to get. They could beat the Saints team. But I still like the Saints roster. They're my Super Bowl pick. I'm going to pick them.
Yeah, you're right about the Broncos. They are starting to come on. They're going to go as far as their quarterback will take them, and I think he needs to play better for them to be a winning franchise. I think with Taysom Hill, he's been around long enough. He knows the offense. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes, and I think the Saints can pull it out because of that. Let's go 49ers, who are 4-6, at the LA Rams at 7-3.
Rams are coming along real strong, man. I like what they've been doing, so I'll take the Rams in this one.
Well, the 49ers are getting their running backs back and healthy. They're coming off a bye week. That being said, I do like this Rams team and what they've been doing the past couple weeks. So I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah, I'll go Rams as well. I think they're in the lead in the division. I think they're going to run with that. They're a balanced team, and their defense is really, really good. I don't think the 49ers will have any answers for that.
Yeah,
so
having no quarterback
is huge. Okay, game of the week. Chiefs at the Bucks in
Game of
Tampa.
the week. What the hell game are you watching? This game's going to be a blowout. This is not the game of the week.
The old versus the new.
The ass kicking of the week. Yes, I'm taking the Chiefs in this.
What's the spread on this one?
3.5, and that's why I bet the Chiefs, because I think they're going to win by 20.
Yeah, if Brady plays like he did last week, they're going to get blown out.
Yeah.
So which Tom Brady are we going to see this week is the question.
Well, the defense of Kansas City is certainly weak, so he might be able to take advantage of them, but you still got to find the receiver, which he could not do in his last game. So, again, that's why I just think Kansas City blows them out.
Oh, man, I think the Bucks have this one circled on the roster. I think after Brady's poor performance last week, look, he knows what Pat Mahomes is, right? And that's what Brady used to be, the darling of the country, right? The darling of the NFL. I think Brady plays one of his best games of the year. I still think the Chiefs win, but it's going to be a close one.
All right, so when Brady gets his ass kicked yet again, are you finally going to admit on the Tuesday show that Tom Brady is washed up, old, and useless? Because he's not going to win this game. He's going to get his ass kicked again. And if he does, then great. But I'm telling you, that ain't happening.
I think Brady's still a capable quarterback. I mean, look, the arm strength ain't there like it used to be.
Capable.
He's a capable quarterback. He's going to have 30 touchdowns this year.
What happens? He should be Joe Flacco right now. He's a backup. He should be teaching some young quarterback how to play the position, not out there playing anymore.
I think Brady's probably better than 15 current starting quarterbacks in the league. Anyway, we'll talk about that Tuesday. Tune in, 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube on the Cover One Network. All right, we have a rescheduled game here. The Ravens at 6-4 taking on the Steelers, who are 10-0. Somebody's got to beat the Steelers team.
Nah, the Steelers are going to win this week, and then the Bills are going to get up in them. That's what's going to happen. The Bills are going to be their first loss.
I would love for that to happen. I do think they have the edge here against Baltimore, as I said in my picks or my big bet of the week. But the one thing I want to see if Pittsburgh can maintain that perfect schedule. Obviously, that would be ideal coming into Buffalo, and then we beat them. But I'm worried that they could have a letdown game in between those two next week and then lose. So we'll see what happens. But this week, I like them against Baltimore.
I'm going to take the Ravens. I think they've been getting picked on throughout the national media, local media, whatever you want to say, right? The team had high expectations. They didn't meet those expectations. And this is your chance to prove all the doubters wrong and knock the Steelers off and tell them you still are a relevant team in the AFC. I'll take the Ravens.
Oh, all right.
And we have our Sunday night game. It's the Chicago Bears at 5-5. They started out hot, but it's not looking so good now. And the Packers at 7-3.
I think the Packers are going to win, even though this is a division game and they tend to be close. I just don't have much confidence. The Bears' offense is just inept. I mean, I don't think they have a plan of what they're going to do from week to week. They don't have a good running game. Hell, I mean, you don't know when Allen Robinson's healthy or not. I mean, it's just a mess right now. So I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, Green Bay is truly an up-and-down team, as we've talked about. No consistency on their front. But Chicago is pretty weak. Their defense is good, though. But Green Bay lost last week, so that means they are going to win this week. So I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah, I think the Bears are still in the hunt to make the playoffs, get that 7 seed. Maybe they can rally, but I think the Packers are too good. You're going to have a good quarterback to beat Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think the Bears have a solid quarterback to do that. Let's go Monday Night Football. The Seahawks at 7-3 at the Eagles.
Seahawks. The Eagles are a hot mess.
Yeah.
They're talking about benching Carson Wentz. I mean, shoot.
This is a must-win for Seattle, really. I mean, you look at where they are in the standings. They need to win this game. They're the favorites. You know, Philly has done nothing but spiral, so they need to jump on that and take advantage of it. Obviously, I bet on Seattle with -5, so I think they're.
Could Carson Wentz be a New England Patriot next year? We don't know. But I'll take the
throwing that out.
Yeah, I don't think you can throw Carson Wentz away. But I mean, if Jalen Hurts comes in and plays well, like crazier things have happened. But let's go.
The thing about that is, though, to get rid of Carson Wentz, it's going to be a lot of dead cap space that they're going to have to eat. So yes. I think they're stuck with Carson Wentz for at least the next 2 years. It's a hefty amount.
Especially next year with the cap situation.
Yeah. So I think Carson Wentz stays. Now, if they want to talk Andrew Luck out of retirement, by all means do that.
Yeah, that makes me want to puke.
Right. Or go, see if you can draft a guy early. I mean, yeah, I just don't see him leaving right now. They're stuck.
Fair, yeah.
Bad contract.
And I think we'll see what Jalen Hurts does. He does have a lot of tools to be a modern, the modern style quarterback that you want. The Russell Wilsons, Lamar Jacksons, right? I'm definitely taking Seattle in that game, but that's something to keep an eye on moving forward as the Eagles quarterback situation. It's crazy that this team was a Super Bowl team not too long ago, and to see where they are now is just insane. And they're still going to win the division, right? I mean, the Giants are 3-7. The only thing keeping the Eagles on top is that one tie. So it's crazy to think about, but
yeah, the Giants could catch them if they play good football down the stretch.
I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion. I mean, that freaking that division is just bad. I mean, it's bad
for sure
on epic levels, bad.
And,
so
and they're going to be hosting a playoff game. So could you imagine if you're the 7th seed and your mouth is watering because you get to play Philly or the Giants in their home? They're going to be favored. Whoever the 7th seed is, probably going to be favorite over the home team.
Yeah, crazy. So, all right. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I hope everyone survives Black Friday. And I'm looking forward to a Bills W on Sunday. How about you?
Let's go.
Yeah,
it's been
let's
too
go,
long.
baby. Heck yeah.
All symptoms here.
And as always, you can check out our reaction on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, on YouTube, the Cover One channel. You can always check out our show, recorded version, the podcast, on all major platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We do have a podcast on there as well. Be sure to tune in, and obviously don't miss our Friday show coming at you every single Friday. The Hoof Podcast on Cover One. Talk to you next week.
Go Bills.
See ya.